Hey everyone, welcome back to Everyday Tone. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to get organized to buy your first home. The concept of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars is overwhelming. In order to buy your first home, you need to determine what kind of property do you want to purchase. Do you want to buy an apartment? An apartment could be co-op or a condo. The major difference between a co-op and a condo is a co-op, you technically don't own the real estate. You own shares of a corporations that owns the real estate. And a condo, you actually own the real estate. You own portion of that building. Or do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a single family house, a multifamily house? I personally think it's a great idea to start with a multifamily house, like a 2 to 3 family house, live in one unit, rent the others, and have them help you pay for the mortgage. Or do you want to buy a building, which is like 4 to 6 apartments or 10 apartments, whatever the case may be, whatever you can afford, because then you can live in one unit and have the rest of the apartment pay for your house? Or do you simply want to buy land? Now that you determine what you want to buy, you want to determine your budget. Once you know your budget, let's say $300,000, then you can start saving for the down payment. You need to put down at least 3.5% for a down payment. Let's take that $300,000 example. A 3.5% down payment for a $300,000 property is only $10,500. There are other closing costs associated with it, so you may need to save a little bit more, or depending what kind of loan you get, you can roll over the closing costs to the loan. Now that you have your budget, next step is to make sure that your credit is ready. Once your credit is good, now you can start talking to a lender to get pre-approved for a mortgage. How do you find a lender? Most people ask around, talk to your family and friends, right? Maybe your cousin just bought a house and he had a good experience with a lender, so you may talk to him. But in case that somebody in your family, or you don't have friends that ever purchased a property, go online and search for a mortgage broker. Find somebody that has great reviews. Talk to 2-3 mortgage brokers and get rates from each of them, because each mortgage broker may give you a higher rate, a lower rate. So you may want to find somebody that's going to give you the best rate. Rate meaning the best interest rate. Now, the next step of the home buying process is finding a realtor, right? Find a realtor to represent you. A real estate agent's job is to represent you, the buyer. The seller will have their own real estate agent. You technically should never talk to their real estate agent or the seller. What you need to do is talk to your realtor. Your realtor will talk to them and he'll broker that deal. He'll be that middleman. He's the liaison. So now that you found a real estate agent that you like, a good way to approach a real estate agent, say, hey, I'm looking for a real estate agent. I'm pre-approved for a $300,000 house. Once you say those words, I'm pre-approved, it will let them know that you're serious about purchasing a house or purchasing a property, because they don't want to waste their time and you don't want to waste anybody's time, unless that's what you'd like to do. If you want to waste people's time, do you? Once you have your real estate agent, you want to talk to a lawyer. Sometimes real estate agents have lawyers that they work with, but you want to get a lawyer that's in your budget. Some people have some kind of legal plan through their job, and those legal plan oftentimes will facilitate with the lawyer, and you don't have to pay anything for that lawyer. Lawyer can range from $1,000 to $5,000. So you want to see what's best for you. The real estate attorney's job is to represent you, to prepare the documents. So they'll review all the documents, right? So whenever I was purchasing my house, that you build anxiety whenever you get all these documents. Literally, it'll be like 50, 60 pages, and you're like, what the heck is this? But the lawyer will read it and represent you and let you know exactly what's in those terms. But you should obviously read it, and if you don't understand anything, you ask the lawyer, hey, what does this mean? And their job is to tell you exactly what it means. Don't be ashamed. You're not a lawyer. This is a contract. Only lawyers read contracts. They write these contracts specific ways. It's not in layman's term. So once you have your realtor, your lawyer, and your lender, let's say you have a property that you like, you tell your realtor, hey, realtor, I like this property. Let's put an offer in. Your realtor will put the offer. Let's say it gets accepted. Oftentimes, they may not get accepted. They may say, oh, no, my client wants, $10,000 more. Are you willing to go there? So you may want to negotiate. But let's say you pass that step and they accept your offer. Now it's time to sign the contract. Whenever you sign that contract, don't waive anything. Don't waive your inspection contingency. I'll get to that in a minute. Now that your offer is accepted, you did not waive your inspection contingency. This is your first home. You want to make sure that everything is right. The inspector's job is to go to the house. They're going to look at every little space. They're going to look at the foundation. They're going to look at the roof. They're going to look at the siding. They're going to look at the electrical. They're going to look at the boiler. They're going to look at the water heater. That's their job. They're going to look at the pipes to make sure everything is in standing condition. Once the inspector does all that, a good inspector afterwards will fill out a report and send it to you with his notes on it. If you like what he says, then you can move forward with the offer. If the inspector finds something they don't like, such as there's a crack in the foundation and that needs to be fixed, and let's say that fix is going to be $20,000 to $50,000 and you don't have that money, it's time to go back and say, hey, we have this inspection contingency, and the inspection contingency gives you time, usually 7 days after the inspection, to say yes or no to the deal. So stay within that time frame, whatever the contract says. Stay within whatever the contract says. Your realtor will let you know what the time frame is. Let's say something is really wrong with the house and you don't want to go through with the deal anymore. This is where you can walk away. Or you can try to negotiate a better deal. You can talk to your realtor to go back to the sellers and say, hey, there's a major foundation crack in the house. It's going to cost $20,000 to fix. Are you willing to deduct that from the offer? Now, if the seller agrees, all is good. But oftentimes, the seller is not going to agree to the whole $20,000, depending how much they want to sell the house or not. So if they want to meet you down the middle, it's up to you if you want to take that offer or not. It's either you negotiate the deal or you walk away. And that's what the inspection contingency allows you to do. If you don't have an inspection contingency and you want to walk away from the deal, there are going to be fees associated with this. You don't want to do that. So keep the inspection contingency in place. Once the house passes inspection, you go back to your realtor and you say, hey, I want to move forward with the home buying process. But before you finalize the deal, you need to find an insurance. You need to insure the property. It's important. No lender is going to lend you money if you don't have insurance on the property. The insurance is for, God forbid, something happens to the property, the insurance will cover that. Once you have the insurance and it's closing day, you close on the deal, you sign that paper, the house is now yours. It's time to put the utilities in your name and get ready to move in. Or if you bought a distressed property, distressed meaning the house needs work, it's time to find a contractor, get the contractors in there, and fix the house for you. Something to keep in mind when going into home ownership, if you're not handy, you may want to add some handyman to your network. Talk to some people like, hey, if I have these issues, who do you use? Talk to your friends. Talk to your neighbor maybe. Who knows? Who do you use? I may have this issue. If something arises, you want to have that person ready for you to come to your house to assist you with anything that you need. I always recommend to have an accountant in your team. An accountant will help you reduce your tax liabilities. So whenever you buy a house, the interest of the mortgage is tax deductible. As of 2020, PMI, private mortgage insurance, is tax deductible. Property taxes is tax deductible. I'm not a tax professional, so talk to a tax professional for more information. But a deduction means is at the end of the year, whenever you owe money to the federal taxes, you can deduct that. So let's say your property taxes, your insurance, and all these things add up to $10,000, and you paid, say, $30,000 in taxes last year to the federal government. You can deduct that $10,000 from that. These are one of the benefits of being a homeowner. A home being an apartment, a house, whatever it is. You can deduct all these expenses from your taxes. If you're renting, let's say you're renting right now and your rent is $2,500, you can't deduct anything from there. That's all money gone. But if you own a home and it's $2,500, you can deduct some portion of that and get some money back from the government. So those are some benefits of owning a house. And on top of that, whenever you own a house, you're likely to build equity on that house. In 10 years from now, let's say you paid $300. In 10 years from now, and you want to sell that house and it's worth $500. Whatever you paid off from that house plus $200,000 is yours to keep. But if you're renting for 10 years and it's $2,500, you walk away, maybe you'll get insurance back. Maybe not. Maybe there's a hole in the wall that they got to fix. You don't get, probably not going to get anything back. So these are the benefits. I mean, I think it's great to own. Again, I talked about stocks. Now I'm talking about houses. These are all owning something. You have to own something that in the future, let's say it's time to retire. Your mortgage is going to be 30 years likely. I'm 35 now. In 30 years from now, I'm going to be 65. If I have a house that I'm paid, I don't have to pay rent to anybody. Right? That's my money. If I want, I could sell that house and downsize. Live in a studio somewhere, go to Florida. Anyways, let's wrap this up. The main takeaways for the home buying process is you need a lender to get pre-approved and give you the mortgage. You need a realtor to represent you. You need a lawyer to go over the documents that you're going to sign. You need an inspector to make sure that the house that you're buying is in good standing conditions. And you need insurance to protect you for God forbid something happens. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with your family and friends if you found it useful. Thanks again.